Juneteenth, the global celebration for freedom, Sunday at 8 Eastern, only on CNN.
Welcome to our viewers in the United States and all around the world. It's Wednesday, June 15th. I had to check there for a second. I'm Christine Romans.
I'm Laura Jarrett, and we begin this morning with the economy and the struggle, of course, to control inflation. It's what everyone's talking about. Just hours from now, the Federal Reserve will make a move that it hopes will tamp down these soaring price increases we've seen. Here's how the president put it.
Inflation. It's sapping the strength of a lot of families.
That inflation hit 8.6% last month, the highest rate since 1981. The majority of Americans weren't even alive, actually. U.S. families paying more for everything: gas, cars, food, housing, just to name a few.
Yeah, plane tickets, everything. Today, the Fed is expected to make its biggest interest rate hike in decades, 3/4 of a point. That could bring inflation down, but here's the trade-off. Those same struggling families will end up paying more to take out a mortgage, to shop with credit cards, to get a car loan, or to borrow from college. The medicine for what ails us will taste pretty bad, but the hope is it cools down this inflation overall. Fear about what's next pushed stocks further into bear market territory yesterday. Right now on Wall Street, you're seeing a little bit of optimism here heading into this final Fed decision here. In overseas markets, a mixed performance in Asia. Those markets are now closed, and Europe has opened higher here this morning. This is a perfect day to talk to our old friend Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate.com. He's a guy who knows something about interest rates, all kinds of different rates. Hi, Greg. How are you?
Good morning, Christine. Great to be with you again.
So tell us, Greg, this rate hike we're expecting to be the biggest since 1994, 75 basis points. What does that tell you about the job the Fed has to do here to get an overheating American economy under control?
Well, inflation is far too high. It's at a 40-year high, and interest rates are far too low for that. The Fed is behind the curve. They have to play catch up, and they're not going to do that by making quarter-point baby steps. That's why we saw in May, when they raised interest rates, they raised rates by 0.5 percentage point. And up until just a few days ago, we thought they were going to raise rates by 0.5 percentage point today. But the inflation report that came out Friday was just a disaster. And that's really kind of forced their hand into taking a more aggressive 0.75 percentage point step higher in rates today.
And I know we saw a factory level inflation number yesterday that just didn't show any signs of cooling in any kind of meaningful way. For people watching at home, for our viewers, how can they expect this increase to affect their everyday life?
Yeah, a few different ways. I mean, on the borrowing front, if you're going out to take out a new loan, borrowing will cost more. We've already seen mortgage rates jump nearly 3 full percentage points since the beginning of the year. Mortgage rates are closing in on the highest levels in 14 years. If you go out to buy a new car, that's going to cost more than it would have earlier this year as rates go up. But also, even if you're not in the market to borrow, if you have variable rate debt, credit cards, home equity line of credit, variable rate student loans, those rates are going to be marching higher. And this isn't just about a 0.75 percentage point rate hike today. This is about the cumulative effect. The Federal Reserve could raise interest rates 3 full percentage points before this year is out. And so what that means is your credit card rate is going to be 3 full percentage points higher at the end of the year than where you started. Same with their home equity line of credit or other variable rate debt. So those are really the big exposures on the borrowing side. On the plus side, savings rates are going up, but you have to shop around. A lot of banks are being very stingy about their payouts. Look at the online savings accounts. That's really where you're going to get the best return on your savings.
That's really good advice. And if you're looking to borrow money to buy a car or to do some home improvements or something, don't wait 2 months. I mean, maybe now is the time to be looking for those loans, because you're saying rates are going to continue to rise. Let's take a listen to what former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers said on inflation.
We're still going to have inflation for quite some time to come, and we're probably going to have a slowing economy as well. So there's going to be an element of what people call stagflation in our situation.
Is that a risk, Greg, do you think, if the Fed doesn't get this right?
Very, very definitely a risk. And I think even more than that, the risk or the price we end up having to pay could be a recession because inflation is so far out of control and the Fed has to do so much heavy lifting with interest rates in order to get inflation down. It's not going to happen quickly. And as Larry Summers said, a significant economic slowdown or an outright recession could end up being the consequence of that.
I think a lot of people, I mean, we're now 5 months into a stock market that has been falling, right? You've got a bear market for the S&P 500, rising interest rates, a housing market that has been unattainable for some people, right? Because there hasn't been a lot of inventory in the housing market. For consumers, for regular folks, what should they be doing right now, I guess, to really try to recession-proof their money, Greg?
I've got three things for you. One, pay down debt, especially that variable rate debt that's most exposed to the rising rates. Second, boost savings. I mentioned how savings rates are going to go up, but also you want to have a little bit more cushion just in case. We don't really know from an economic standpoint what lies ahead over the next, say, 12 to 18 months. Having more savings will help you weather that. And then third, when it comes to the retirement savings, stay the course. Yes, markets have been volatile. They've pulled back. There hasn't been a whole lot of places to hide, but you have to keep making those contributions to the 401k every pay period. Keep making those retirement or college account contributions. Stay the course. The less you do on that front, the better. Yeah,
sometimes inertia is the best financial plan, honestly, when you're talking about a long-term environment in investing. But always remember to rebalance periodically, whether it's good times or bad. Greg McBride of Bankrate.com. Always nice to see you, Greg. Thanks for getting up early for us from Florida this morning.
Thank you, Christine. Appreciate it.
I'm taking notes. Stay the course.
Yep. Pay down debt.
Pay down debt.
Pay down debt. I say that all the time, and people are like, "Oh, that's so old-fashioned."
Yeah, but don't divest from your 401k.
No. By the time you freak out, seriously, by the time you freak out, and you're like, "I have to sell my stocks." Yeah. I'm telling you, you're making a mistake. It's too late. The freak out should have happened a long time ago. Now you have to adapt, adjust.
Well, so all of this reason why President Biden says he is tackling the economy and inflation is his top priority, and that Russian leader Vladimir Putin is to blame for rising prices. CNN's Tom Foreman takes a closer look at this.
In the air, on the ground, in businesses and homes, rising prices are scorching American pocketbooks. Yet who does the White House blame? The leader of faraway Russia, Vladimir Putin.
We've never seen anything like Putin's tax on both food and gas.
I'm doing everything in my power to blunt Putin's gas price hike.
Certainly when Russia invaded Ukraine, global energy prices soared as much of the world turned away from Russian fuel exports. Agricultural export problems in Russia and production disruptions in Ukraine have the World Food Program tweeting about ripple effects everywhere.
These two countries supply about 30% of all the wheat exports globally.
So, money watchers like Julia Horowitz say,
I think Joe Biden has a point, and the war in Ukraine is absolutely exacerbating rising food costs and rising fuel costs that are putting pressure on American households all across the country.
But hold on. America's inflationary surge started in May of 2020 while Trump was still in office and has skyrocketed under Biden. The war effect kicked in only a few months ago. Economists say that bigger trend was driven by the pandemic, which is still disrupting production in places like China and supply chains all over. But they also cite supply's evil twin, demand for goods and services, which is way up, pushed by Americans eager to spend pandemic savings, and that has President Biden himself taking heat.
There's a lot of debate right now among economists about whether the stimulus packages that were passed by the Biden administration fueled demand, and that supercharged the inflation problem.
Still, many financial analysts say while Putin does not deserve all the blame, his war in Ukraine has undeniably made inflationary woes worse, even as the White House keeps promising to somehow make it all better.
Jobs are back, but prices are still too high. COVID is down, but gas prices are up. Our work isn't done.
The White House would not be wrong to say the real causes of inflation are a global economy, the lingering pandemic, the fighting in Ukraine, maybe some corporate greed, and Americans going on a spending spree after being cooped up for 2 years. But that's complicated. It's much easier politically to say, see that bad guy in the Kremlin? It's his fault. Tom Foreman, CNN, Washington.
Thanks, Tom, for that. You know, Mark Zandi over at Moody's Analytics sort of broke down inflation and assigned, assigned a value to each of these different factors. And if I can zero in here, the Russian invasion of Ukraine is number one. COVID pandemic, number two, with supply chains and reopening and labor shortages. Affordable housing crisis, then the American Rescue Plan. So that's, government spending. Then energy regulation, money supply, and corporate price gouging at the very end. And yesterday, Mohamed El-Erian, who's someone, a famous economist, was on with our colleague Poppy Harlow. And he has been very prescient about the inflation risk. And he said there are 5 causes of inflation. He sees, number one, the Fed being too easy with money and behind the curve for too long. The Ukraine war, number 2. Ill-prepared energy transition, number 3. COVID, number 4. And then number 5 is all of that spending, government spending and White House spending after the crisis.
So the point is, it's a nuanced portrait here. It's a mosaic of problems, as you call it.
A lot of
all
reasons.
coming at the same time, but Putin being at the top of the list.
Yeah. All right, still ahead. Can Congress help lower gas prices? The ideas on the table have some drawbacks, of course.
Plus, the U.S. about to approve more weapons for Ukraine, but is it already too late?
First, a blunt preview of what's to come at the next January 6th hearing.
Get a great FN criminal defense lawyer. You're going to need it.
Right now, we're all feeling a little strapped. But weekends are still all about grilling. And Walmart always keeps prices low on our fresh ingredients, so you can save money and live better.
Life doesn't stop for diabetes. Be ready for every moment with Glucerna. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand that's scientifically designed to help manage your blood sugar. Live every moment. Glucerna.
Only at Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner. That means that your goals are ours, too. And Vanguard Retirement Tools and Advice can help you get there. That's the value of ownership.
Now's the time for cleaner indoor air with an air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer. You've known us for carpet cleaning, but we've been cleaning air ducts for over 20 years. We do things the right way, cleaning your entire system. So if you need an air duct cleaning, call 1-800-STEAMER today.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure complete balanced nutrition with 27 vitamins and minerals, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
Grillin', chillin', spillin', dillin', BECin', never freeing, smoking, yoking, flippin', dippin'. If you're not oozing, then you're losing. Tater, tot, and cold or hot, and mealin', feelin', pieing, trying. Color your spread, upgrade your bread, pair it, share it,
craft singles,
square it.
When your hardworking feet need hardworking skincare, that's a job for O'Keeffe's for Healthy Feet. It's America's #1 selling foot cream and guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet. Also available in O'Keeffe's Working Hands, America's #1 selling hand cream and guaranteed relief.
Before Nexium 24-Hour, Anna could only imagine a comfortable night's sleep without frequent heartburn waking her up. Now, that dream is her reality. Nexium 24-Hour stops acid before it starts for all-day, all-night protection. Can you imagine 24 hours without heartburn?
The lows of bipolar depression can leave you down and in the dark. But what if you could begin to see the signs of hope all around you? What if you could let in the light? Discover Caplyta. Caplyta is a once-daily pill proven to deliver significant relief from bipolar depression. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Caplyta treats both bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 depression. And in clinical trials, feelings of inner restlessness and weight gain were not common.
Caplyta can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may be life-threatening, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. These aren't all the serious side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Caplyta can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Caplyta from Intracellular Therapies.
I love all types of dancing, salsa, and even belly dancing.
I am a triathlete. I've always been into health and wellness and fitness.
I tried everything with diet and exercise, and nothing worked.
There was just kind of this stubborn area on my stomach. But Cool Sculpting worked for me.
Cool Sculpting targets, freezes, and eliminates treated fat for good. No needles, no incisions. Discuss Cool Sculpting with your provider. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. You've come this far. Cool Sculpting takes you further. Visit coolsculpting.com.
We have a dog and a cat. Welcome to my family. They leave traces of hair with their shedding all over the house. And I want to make sure that the air quality is good for my kids. Filtry filters help take care of things I thought I had no control over. They give me a sense of relief and peace of mind. My kids are happy, my cat is happy, my dog is happy, everything's good.
The January 6th committee now giving the public a little flavor of what's to come at its next scheduled hearing this Thursday. The panel will focus on the pressure campaign waged by President Trump, former President Trump, to get his vice president, Mike Pence, to violate his oath of office and refuse to certify the 2020 election results. CNN's Daniela Diaz is live on Capitol Hill for us this morning. Daniela, the committee is teasing tomorrow's hearing like it's a drama series with this new video clip. Tell us about it.
This clip, Laura, features then White House attorney Eric Hirschman, who outlined how he warned conservative attorney John Eastman to back off plans for appeals in Georgia based on the election results after the January 6th insurrection. It's really interesting. He said that he warned this attorney, John Eastman, the architect of this plan, and they plan to use this clip to show how he pushed it to former President Donald Trump to overturn the results in Georgia, to file appeals of the results, the election results in Georgia, despite the insistence from his top top lawyers that it was bad advice and not sound legal advice. Let's take a listen to this clip that the committee teased yesterday.
I said to him, "Are you out of your effing mind?" Right? I said, I only want to hear two words coming out of your mouth from now on. Orderly transition. Eventually he said, orderly transition. I said, good, John. Now I'm going to give you the best free legal advice you're ever getting in your life. Get a great effing criminal defense lawyer. You're going to need it. And then I hung up on him.
Laura, remember the goal with all these hearings, there are going to be 7 in total in the next couple of weeks, is to continue to weave that narrative that former President Donald Trump, then President Donald Trump, knew he had lost the election, had been told he had lost the election, but wanted to overturn the election results anyway. And specifically, tomorrow's hearing is expected to focus on that pressure campaign against then Vice President Mike Pence to stand in the way of the certification of the election results. So we will continue to see that from the committee going forward. And I assume, considering what we've seen in the past, we will continue to hear from people in Trump's orbit saying that they warned people in his orbit that they did not win the election, even though he pushed forward to try to overturn the election results anyway. Laura?
It is quite the revelation to have one lawyer telling another, you better get a good criminal defense lawyer. Just a preview of probably what's more to come. Daniela, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, New York's Attorney General confirms she's now investigating the Trump campaign's fundraising tactics that were exposed by the January 6th House Committee. Letitia James tweeting, the new details revealed tonight related to January 6th are disturbing. It's my duty to investigate allegations of fraud or potential misconduct in New York. This incident is no exception. On Monday, the House showed that the Trump campaign raised at least $250 million from small donors based on false claims of election fraud. James is already investigating the former president's hotel and golf resort empire.
All right, let's get to some primary coverage. Republican voters in South Carolina deciding the fate of 2 House incumbents who defied former President Trump. One won, one lost in last night's primary. CNN can now project Tom Rice, the first of 10 House Republicans who voted for Trump's impeachment last year, lost to State Representative Russell Fry in the state's 7th district. Fry was endorsed by Trump, and he will clear the 50% threshold needed to avoid a runoff.
All right, the other South Carolina incumbent who defied Trump, Nancy Mace, was a clear winner in her GOP primary race. CNN projects Mace has defeated Trump-backed challenger Katie Arrington in their 3-candidate race. Mace did not vote to impeach Trump, but she voted to certify President Biden's election victory, earning Trump's wrath in that process, though the former president actually congratulated Mace on her win.
Coming up for you, how oil and human rights have Joe Biden caught between a rock and a hard place.
First, CNN on the ground with Ukrainian troops using Western weapons.
There's a problem, though. We're told there's not enough Western ammunition.
Welcome to Allstate, where the safer you drive, the more you save. Like Rachel here.
How am I looking?
Looking good. The most cautious driver we got.
Am I there?
No, keep going.
How's that?
I'll say when.
Now? Is that good?
Lots of cars have backup cameras now, you know.
Those are for amateurs.
There we go. Like a glove, girl. Safe driving and DriveWise can save you 40% with Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
Want to do more for your brain? Unlike ordinary memory supplements, Nariva Plus fuels 6 indicators of brain health. Memory, focus, accuracy, learning, concentration, and reasoning. Nariva, do more for your brain.
With Best Western Rewards, you get rewarded when you stay on the road and on the go. Find your rewards so you can reconnect, disconnect, hold on tight, and let go. Stay 2 nights and get a free night. Book now at bestwestern.com.
On the road again, just can't wait to get on the road again.
Love is making music with my friends,
and I can't wait to get on the road again. Hit the road in Skechers. Keep life zesty with Zantac 360 degrees. Heartburn can't stop this party because Zantac 360's triple action prevents, relieves, and lasts, working in as little as 15 minutes. Keep life zesty with Zantac 360.
For back pain, I've always been a take 2 and call in the morning guy. But my new doctor recommended Salonpas. Without another pill upsetting my stomach, I get powerful, effective, and safe relief. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
Open. It's a beautiful word. Neighborhoods, open. Businesses, open. Fields, open. Who doesn't love open? Offices, homes, stages, possibilities. Your world, open. And you can help keep it that way.
How is he still playing?
Aspercream Arthritis. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Don't touch my piano.
Kick pain in the Aspercream.
So this is the Meta Portal Plus, a smart video calling device that makes working from home work. It syncs with your favorite VC apps so you'll never miss a meeting, and neither will she. Meta Portal. Make working from home work for you.
If you have diabetes, it's important to have confidence in the nutritional drink you choose. Try Boost Glucose Control. It's clinically shown to help manage blood sugar levels and contains high-quality protein to help manage hunger and support muscle health. Try Boost today.
Sunday, celebrate, educate, and lift every voice. The Roots, Khalid, Yolanda Adams, and so much more. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom. Sunday at 8 Eastern, only on CNN.
I got nothing to eat.
Nothing.
Hold on, I can do something.
Turning nothing into something.
Turning nothing into something. It's amazing what you can do with nothing and a little Best Foods.
If there's pain when you try to poo and going sometimes feels like you push through a pineapple or two, Colace is the brand you need to soften stools, we're all agreed. Number 2 should be easy to do.
Trust Colace to soften stools with no stimulants for comfortable relief.
I found my treasure.
I found my treasure.
I found my treasure.
I found my treasure.
I found all my treasures at JB's Fantastic Finds.
Discover your treasure on JB's Fantastic Finds,
where the worlds of myth and fantasy collide with jewelry.
Such a deal.
This show is amazing.
Sold, sold, sold.
Sold, sold, sold.
Sold, sold, sold.
Watch JB's Fantastic Finds with John Bastow to discover your treasure.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Welcome back. 24 minutes past the hour. The U.S. expects the announcement of more weapons and aid packages for Ukraine today at a meeting of nearly 50 nations in Brussels. Ukrainian officials warn Russia is gaining ground in the eastern Donbass region and help is desperately needed.
Even though Russia has fewer and fewer missiles with each passing day, Ukraine's need for such systems remains, because Russia still has enough Soviet types of missiles, which are even more dangerous. They are many times less precise and therefore threaten civilian objects and ordinary residential buildings much more.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is in Brussels to host what's known as the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. CNN Pentagon correspondent Oren Lieberman is there. Oren, nice to see you this morning. Do we have any sense which countries are ready to deliver more weapons to Ukraine?
We don't yet. We just know from a senior U.S. defense official that the U.S. expects more announcements of weapons shipments and perhaps equipment shipments as well from some of the nearly 50 countries in attendance here. This is the second time this contact group, this forum, has been held. The first time was in late April at Ramstein Air Base. And there we saw from a few countries, for example, Canada and the U.K., that they made some of their own announcements in weapons deliveries. And that's what we're expecting here again. Some countries to come forward and say, yes, we're ready to make these shipments. Crucially, we don't yet know what the U.S. will announce, if anything. The last aid package from the U.S. was on the 1st of this month when the U.S. announced $700 million in aid to Ukraine, including for the first time HIMARS systems capable of launching a barrage of rockets. But it was only 4. Ukraine is calling for more than 300 of those systems and more than 1,000 howitzers to push back against Russia, to have a successful fight against Russia. To put that in perspective, to this point, the U.S. has delivered about 1/10 of that number of howitzers. So Ukrainian officials are calling for more, and we'll wait to see what the U.S. and others announce at this forum that's set to start here in just a couple of hours. Ukraine has made it clear how difficult, perhaps even how desperate the situation is in the Donbass region, specifically in the city of Severodonetsk, where some of the most powerful and the most brutal fighting is now taking place. They're saying they need these weapons now to successfully fight back and take back their own territory. So, Christine, they're calling on the countries that are here not just to make statements, but to make announcements of deliveries of weapons to Ukraine's armed forces.
And you'll be following it all for us. All right, Oren Lieberman for us in Brussels. Thanks, Oren.
Meantime, for Ukraine, fighting off Russians has never been a matter of will. It's a matter of weapons. And right now, the Ukrainian military needs a lot more firepower. Here's CNN's Ben Wiedemann.
American symbol, American weapon. Ukrainian troops try out new equipment. U.S.-supplied M4 rifles fresh out of the box. Away from the front lines, these soldiers are preparing to join the battle raging in the east.
This exercise is designed to accustom Ukrainian forces to the use of Western weapons. This is an American 50 caliber machine gun firing Italian bullets. There's a problem, though. We're told there's not enough Western ammunition.
And not enough weapons either. Even in this drill, much of the firepower dates back to the Soviet era. Ukrainian forces are slowly losing ground in the battle for the eastern Donbass region. Morale here is high.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Yet no one believes these rifles will halt the Russian advance.
This is not enough.
Ukrainian officials say Russian artillery outnumbers their artillery at a ratio of perhaps more than 10 to 1. Used to deadly effect in the city of Severodonetsk, now almost completely under Russian control. Big guns, not small arms, could help Ukraine turn the tide.
I can protect myself as a soldier with this weapon. I can protect my comrades. But unfortunately, I can't clear my country from invaders using only these rifles. So we need more artillery. We need heavy rocket system and other serious weapons because it's the modern war.
From USA?
The U.S. and its allies have delivered advanced weapon systems to Ukraine, and more are on the way. But the army here is losing men at an alarming rate, more than 100 killed in action every day, according to Ukrainian officials. We need a basic minimum to avoid more casualties. Artillery, smart weapons, radar, drones, and people to train us, says the commander, Lieutenant Alexander, a veteran of the French Foreign Legion. We've shown we will fight. We will learn to use these weapons. And that will take time. And time is a luxury this nation at war cannot afford. Ben Wiedemann, CNN, Central Ukraine.
Thank you so much, Ben, for that. Up next, the touchy subject Joe Biden will bring up when he meets with the Saudi Crown Prince next month.
And why a gas tax holiday, as good as that sounds, isn't as simple as it sounds.
Welcome to your world, your why. What drives you? What do you want to leave behind? That's your why. It's your purpose, and we will work with you every step of the way to achieve it.
Bipolar depression. It made me feel trapped in a fog.
This is art inspired by real stories of bipolar depression.
I just couldn't find my way out of it.
The lows of bipolar depression can take you to a dark place. Latuda can make a real difference in your symptoms. Latuda was proven to significantly reduce bipolar depression symptoms, and in clinical studies had no substantial impact on weight.
This is where I want to be.
Call your doctor about sudden behavior changes or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report fever, confusion, stiff or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be life-threatening or permanent. These aren't all the serious side effects.
Now, I'm back where I belong.
Ask your doctor if Latuda is right for you. Pay as little as $0 for your first prescription.
Frank is a fan of fast. He's a fast talker, a fast walker. And for unexpected heartburn, Frank is a fan of Pepcid. It works in minutes. Nexium 24-hour and Prilosec OTC can take 1 to 4 days to fully work. Pepcid, strong relief for fans of fast.
Homegrown tomatoes, nice.
I want to feel in control of my health, so I do what I can.
What about screening for colon cancer? When caught in early stages, it's more treatable. I'm Cologuard. I'm non-invasive, and I detect altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers, even in early stages.
Early stages?
Yep. It's for people 45 plus at average risk for colon cancer, not high risk. False positive and negative results may occur. Ask your provider if Cologuard is right for you.
Consider it done.
Dad, when is the future?
Oh wow. The future is, what's ahead of us?
I don't get it.
Yeah. Maybe this will help. So now we're in the present. And now we're in the future.
The all-electric Chevy Bolt EUV with available Super Cruise for hands-free driving.
Dad?
Yeah?
Do fish get thirsty?
Find new answers. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, I was thinking about going back to school to get my master's.
I just saw something that said you could do it in a year for like 11K.
Order 11? Yes, see you at 11.
1111 Masters Boulevard, please.
It's gonna be 11 even, buddy.
Really?
The crews are all around us.
Some things are too obvious to be a coincidence.
Nicorette knows quitting smoking is freaking hard. You get advice like, try hypnosis. Or quit cold turkey.
Kidding me?
Instead, start small with Nicorette, which can lead to something big. Start stopping with Nicorette.
In the Middle Ages, the remedy for tooth decay was to kiss a donkey.
Hurry up!
Today, there's a better way to help keep decay away. ACT. With fortifying fluoride, it can make teeth up to 4 times stronger.
Next.
ACT. Long live your teeth.
How can you tell which one's the better deal?
Bring in Dad from Sarasota?
Dads are great, but let's say, show me the Carfax value. You'll get the most accurate price based on the vehicle's accident history. Shop at the all-new Carfax.com.
Itch. Scratch. Itch. Itch. Scratch. Must not. Itch. Scratch. Itch. Scratch.
Stop the itch sanity. Cortisone 10. Maximum strength itch relief without a prescription. Goodbye, itch. Cortisone 10.
Dry skin is sensitive skin too, and it's natural. Treat it that way. Aveeno Daily Moisture with prebiotic oat is proven to moisturize dry skin all day. You'll love our formula for face too. Aveeno. What's on the horizon? The answers lie beyond the roads we know. We recognize that energy demand is growing and the world needs lower carbon solutions to keep up. At Chevron, we're working to find new ways forward through investments and partnerships in innovative solutions like renewable natural gas from cow waste, hydrogen-fueled transportation, and carbon capture. We may not know just what lies ahead, but it's only human to search for it.
Welcome back. White House officials are now predicting President Biden will in fact bring up human rights when he meets next month with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman after criticizing the Saudi leader in the past over the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
The president does not set aside human rights concerns with leaders all around the world routinely. He brings up our values and our foreign policy and our commitment to human and civil rights, and I suspect he will do that clearly on this trip as well. We don't set that aside.
Even some Democrats, though, are calling the president's planned meeting with the Crown Prince a mistake.
I wouldn't shake his hand. I want nothing to do with him. And I understand, the president has to deal with a whole variety of difficult issues, but I wouldn't go. This is someone who, was involved in the premeditated murder and dismemberment of a U.S. resident, a journalist.
International diplomatic editor Nick Robertson joins us now from London. Nick, good morning. Our Stephen Collinson wrote an analysis piece with this headline: Saudi Crown Prince outlasts U.S. moral outrage with a little help from soaring gas prices. Is he spot on here?
Yeah, he is. And look, the Saudis anticipated that the moral outrage would ebb, that President Biden wouldn't be as tough in the White House as he was on the campaign trail. It turned out to be a little different to that. The relationship certainly sank lower, got more rocky than the Saudis had anticipated. But they always figured it would come back round to this moment. And there are some really hard realities here. This is not just about real politics for President Biden, but it's real politics for the United States. This is not the United States of the Nixonian era or even the sort of Bush senior era. This is us, almost a quarter of the way into the 21st century. The world has changed. China's more powerful. Russia has a lot more leverage than it used to in the Middle East, in part because the United States has sort of withdrawn commitments in the Middle East, in part because it's endured some long and painful and brutal wars there. So there's a reality here. When President Biden wants something from the Saudis, it's not as easy as it used to be. You cannot just sort of turn on a tap and ask them to push out more oil, which is part of the background, of course, of this moment, to bring down surging oil prices and fuel prices around the world. But it's a moment that was going to come. So Biden's critics can be tough on him, but he's the leader of the United States. I think this is certainly how the Saudis would say it. He's the leader of the United States. He has to deal with the real situation today, and the U.S. doesn't have the clout it used to. So it does have to make compromises like this.
All right, Nick Robertson, thank you so much. Appreciate your analysis as always.
All right, here at home, a small break in the rise of gas prices. The national average price for regular dipping 1 cent to $5.01 a gallon overnight. Gas prices still up 5 cents in the past week, up 54 cents in the past month. President Biden vows to do something about those gas prices.
I have a plan to bring down the cost of gas and food. I'm doing everything in my power to blunt Putin's gas price hike.
Could that plan involve a gas tax holiday? We've heard so much swirling about that. Let's bring in Grace Seegers, who covers Congress for the New Republic. So nice to see you. In theory, it sounds great. Give everybody a break on gas taxes, which is, depending on where you live, can be 10, 20, 30 cents a gallon. But, there's just no simple one thing. It's not as simple as it sounds. Politically, do you think a gas tax holiday is something that could happen here?
Well, there's a reason that you are only seeing vulnerable Senate Democrats and House Democrats really pushing this. So in the Senate, that means Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, Senator Hassan of New Hampshire, Senator Warnock of Georgia. All of these Democrats are up for re-election in November. And of course, they're saying we have a very easy way to get the cost of your gas bill down. That is to suspend the federal gas tax, which is about 18 cents across the country. So it seems very simple, but there are a lot of hidden strings to it, which is why so far you're only really seeing those vulnerable Democrats endorsing it.
It also, one of the drawbacks is that it helps pay for the national, highway fund. Like we actually fix our roads.
Infrastructure.
And so if you don't get this revenue today, you have to get it somewhere tomorrow. So it's kind of like pushing it down the road, I think.
So then, Grace, why go through all this if they can't get it through the Senate?
I think it's very much a messaging bill right now because we know that Republicans don't like it. Multiple Republicans have called it a gimmick. A lot of Democrats have actually called it a gimmick. Senator Joe Manchin, who often is the thorn in Democrats' side for a lot of their favorite issues, he has also come out a little skeptically against the gas tax. He's nervous about it. So I think this is just a way for these vulnerable Democrats to go to their constituents and say, look, I have a plan, I'm trying, I can't get through the Senate, but I do have an idea for how to address this issue.
We heard the president talk about shipping companies when he was in LA, about how much profit they're making. We've heard him talk about energy companies, their record amazing profits, talking about price gouging from companies. You've heard greedflation is something that progressives have been talking about, that inflation is being fed by corporate greed. And now you have Democratic Senator Ron Wyden drawing up a surtax on big oil, trying to rein in that industry's skyrocketing profits. Is that feasible? Or is this also a messaging move here?
This is also probably unlikely to get its way through the Senate. I think that this might have a bit more support in the Senate among Democrats. There are lots of Democrats who are really angry with oil companies, but there's definitely enough pushback from the Republican side mostly, but also a little bit from the Democratic side, and concern about, well, what if companies just raise prices pre-tax? What if they just increase the demand and then the supply gets lowered? So there are a lot of concerns about this. And I think that ultimately this is another example where you're seeing Democrats try to do something, but really it's probably not going to happen. And they're just trying to show voters that they're trying to do something, that they know this is painful.
Yeah, that weekly trip to the gas station, that every corner you've got the sign of the prices. I mean, that is what they're up against. And, all of these factors, that there's just no simple solution to all these multiple factors feeding into it. Grace Eagers, New Republic, thank you so much.
Thanks, Grace.
All right, just ahead, new signs the American housing market might be cooling down.
I like the sound of that. And next, a disappointing new development in the fight to free a basketball star being held in Russia.
I grew up an athlete. I rode horses. I really do take care of myself.
I try to stay in shape. That's really important, especially as you age.
I noticed after kids that my body totally changed.
I started noticing a little pudge, so I took action.
Cool Sculpting targets, freezes, and eliminates treated fat for good. No needles, no incisions. Discuss Cool Sculpting with your provider. Some common side effects include temporary numbness, discomfort, and swelling. You've come this far. Cool Sculpting takes you further. Visit CoolSculpting.com.
Dry skin is sensitive skin too, and it's natural. Treat it that way. Aveeno Daily Moisture with prebiotic oat is proven to moisturize dry skin all day. You'll love our formula for face too. Aveeno.
The lows of bipolar depression can leave you down and in the dark. But what if you could begin to see the signs of hope all around you? What if you could let in the light? Discover Caplyta. Caplyta is a once-daily pill proven to deliver significant relief from bipolar depression. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Caplyta treats both bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 depression. And in clinical trials, feelings of inner restlessness and weight gain were not common.
Caplyta can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may be life-threatening, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. These aren't all the serious side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Caplyta can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Caplyta from Intracellular Therapies.
I brought in Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein.
Those who tried me felt more energy in just 2 weeks. Here, I'll take that.
Ensure Max Protein with 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and nutrients to support immune health.
Only at Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner. That means that your priorities are ours, too. Our interactive tools and advice can help you build a future for the ones you love. That's the value of ownership.
Get ready for the showdown.
An epic battle.
On the shoreline.
I don't play it safe.
3 teams compete, led by HGTV experts, and winner takes all. Battle on the beach. All new Sunday at 9 on HGTV.
We've been streaming all day from every room. The power and speed of this supersonic Wi-Fi from Xfinity is incredible.
Mom, fast speeds was my idea, remember? Dominion Net with speeds of up to 1 million bytes per hour.
But that was an epic fail. With X-Fi, we can stream, share, swipe, like, tick.
Impress your mom with supersonic Wi-Fi. It's unbeatable internet for a more unbeatable crew. I mean, you.
I can't. My toes.
Turns out, it is hard walking a mile in someone else's shoes.
And it turns out the General is a quality insurance company that's been saving people money for nearly 60 years. I gotta go. For a great low rate and nearly 60 years of quality coverage, go with the General.
If it hurts when you poop sometimes, like pinching off a porcupine, you're sweating, you're next trip to the loo. Colace is the brand you need to soften stools, we're all agreed. Number 2 should be easy to do.
Trust Colace to soften stools with no stimulants for comfortable relief.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We proudly help veterans with mesothelioma. Call for a free book, 1-800-822-0400, or go to Mesobook.com.
A big blow to efforts by the U.S. government and the public to free Brittany Griner. Russia has now extended her detention. The WNBA star was being held since February when she was arrested at an airport in Moscow for alleged drug smuggling. Let's bring in CNN State Department producer Jennifer Hansler. Jennifer, good morning. What do we know about this extension?
Well, good morning, Laura. According to Russian state media, Brittany Griner's detention has been extended until at least July 2nd. As you mentioned, she's been in Russian imprisonment since February. This is not the first time they have extended this detention. This is at least the second time they have done so. And it is a blow to her supporters. Her agent came out yesterday and said this is further proof that Russia is holding her as a political pawn. Now, the U.S. State Department considers her to be wrongfully detained. They do not believe there is warrant for her to be held in Russia under those charges. And take a listen to what State Department spokesperson Ned Price said yesterday about this latest development.
I've seen the reports emanate from Russia that her detention has been extended. Our position for some time on this has been very clear. Brittany Griner should not be detained. She should not be detained for a single day longer.
And now Price went on to say that both Brittany Griner and another American, Paul Whelan, who is also detained in Russia, should be released. They have spent way too long in Russian imprisonment, he said. I think it's notable, Laura, that Price said that he found out about this development about Brittany Griner's extended detention from state media as well. The Russian government did not tell the U.S. government about this development, according to Ned Price. And it is also noticeable that although the U.S. Embassy had access to her last month, her agent said she hasn't made a single phone call in the more than 100 days she's been imprisoned there.
Wow, that's really tough. And I know that her team met with the State Department while they were there playing in Washington, D.C. What can you tell us about that meeting?
Well, that's right. They were here playing in D.C., and they were able to have a meeting with officials from the Bureau of the Hostage Affairs, as well as the Bureau that deals with cultural affairs and sports diplomacy. They're members of the team, and the coach had statements after that meeting. They said it was productive. They're confident in the work that the State Department is doing, but they are going to continue to amplify this message that it is past time to bring Brittany Griner home, and they are calling on the Biden administration to do whatever they can to make that happen.
All right, Jennifer, thank you so much for staying on top of this one. Come back to us as you learn more.
Thanks, Laura.
Shifting gears here, unprecedented rainfall at Yellowstone National Park causing catastrophic damage and stranding dozens of residents. The dangerous flooding forcing rangers to close every entrance and to keep them shut for several days. Look at that water rushing. Video shows washed out or eroding roads and bridges, flooded homes, businesses, some partly or fully collapsing. Dozens of people trapped by the waters had to be airlifted out by plane or chopper, and some in surrounding communities have been left without safe drinking water or power.
We need people in this temporary situation to reduce their electrical load as much as possible until we get things back to a normal state.
It's still a wild river. It's a national treasure, you know, but it has a temper, too.
A national treasure, and now officials are bracing for the possibility of even more flooding in the coming days. That video is just scary.
Yeah, it really is. All right, just ahead, high stakes today as the Fed makes its most aggressive move in decades to try to tame inflation.
Expectations come with the territory, but raising expectations, that comes with determination, pushing ourselves further, and knowing that recognition isn't given, it's earned. Ram, J.D. Power's #1 brand and new vehicle quality. No wonder more people are switching to Ram than ever before.
Every dollar counts these days, so take advantage of this great offer during the Ram Make the Switch event.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too, by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Oral treatments can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms first appear. If you have symptoms of COVID-19, even if they're mild, don't wait. Get tested quickly. If you test positive and are at high risk for severe disease, act fast. Ask if an oral treatment is right for you. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too.
If you have diabetes, it's important to have confidence in the nutritional drink you choose. Try Boost Glucose Control. It's clinically shown to help manage blood sugar levels and contains high-quality protein to help manage hunger and support muscle health. Try Boost today.
Life doesn't stop for diabetes. Be ready for every moment with Glucerna. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand that's scientifically designed to help manage your blood sugar. Live every moment. Glucerna.
Before discovering Nexium 24-Hour to treat her frequent heartburn, Claire could only imagine enjoying chocolate cake. Now she can have her cake and eat it too. Nexium 24-Hour stops acid before it starts for all-day, all-night protection. Can you imagine 24 hours without heartburn?
So this is the Meta Portal Plus, a smart video calling device that makes working from home work. It syncs with your favorite VC apps so you'll never miss a meeting, and neither will she. Meta Portal. Make working from home work for you.
Welcome to your world, your why. What drives you? What do you want to leave behind? That's your why. It's your purpose, and we will work with you every step of the way to achieve it.
For back pain, I've always been a take 2 and call in the morning guy. But my new doctor recommended Salonpas. Without another pill upsetting my stomach, I get powerful, effective, and safe relief. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
How is this still playing?
Aspirin Arthritis. Full prescription strength. Reduces inflammation. Don't touch my piano.
Kick pain in the Aspirin.
With Best Western Rewards, you get rewarded when you stay on the road and on the go. Find your rewards so you can reconnect, disconnect, hold on tight, and let go. Stay 2 nights and get a free night. Book now at bestwestern.com.
It's so musty in here.
Damp Rid. Drop in the tab, attract and trap excess moisture, eliminate musty odors.
Sunday, celebrate, educate, and lift every voice. The Roots, Khalid, Yolanda Adams, and so much more. Juneteenth, a global celebration for freedom. Sunday at 8 Eastern, only on CNN.
When it comes to cybersecurity, the biggest threats don't always strike the biggest targets. So help safeguard your small business with Comcast Business Security Edge. It's advanced security that continuously scans for threats and helps protect every connected device. The choice is clear. Get unbeatable business solutions from the most innovative company, so you can be ready for what's next.
Get started with a great deal on internet and voice for just $49.99 a month for 24 months with a 2-year price guarantee. Call today.
One mystery circle, buzzing with ancient powers of subatomic superfood benefits that humanity has only begun to fathom. Hiding in the cranberry.
If there's pain when you try to poo and going sometimes feels like you push through a pineapple or two, Colace is the brand you need to soften stools, we're all agreed. Number 2 should be easy to do.
Trust Colace to soften stools with no stimulants for comfortable relief.
Patagonia, life on the edge of the world. Coming in July on CNN.
All right, to sports this morning, the St. Louis Cardinals miss out on a no-hitter at the last possible moment. Coy Wire has this morning's Bleacher Report. Good morning, Coy.
Good morning, Christine. This is like running a race and getting to the finish line and bam, falling just before you get there. Miles Michaelis came so close to the Cardinals' first no-hitter in 21 years. The fans are on their feet. They're waiting to take in a piece of history in St. Louis. Michaelis, 2 outs, 9th inning, needing 1 strike to throw just the second solo no-hitter of the season. But the Pirates' Cal Mitchell plays party pooper, bouncing one over the fence for a ground rule double. 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, and a 9-1 win. It's an historic night, Ruin. You can see the anticipation and the collective sighs as Michaelis and the fans watch the ball bounce. But the fans did give him an ovation, letting him know that he still pitched an incredible game. And great teammate that he is, Michaelis showed love for his defense after the game. Listen.
It kind of stinks to not finish that out. I mean, I don't have one yet. I've got friends that have them. It would have been nice to join that conversation. But, I can't say enough about our defense today. I mean, we were everywhere we had to be and making fantastic plays all game. And I kind of feel like I let them down after all that great defense that I got today.
And guess who's back? Serena Williams set to make her return to tennis in 12 days at Wimbledon, the 3rd Grand Slam of the year. It's the first we'll see Serena competing since her injury there last year. The 40-year-old accepting a wild card invitation, posting this photo on grass yesterday with the caption SW and SW19. It's a date. SW19 is Wimbledon's postal code in London. Serena has 23 Grand Slam singles titles, still chasing Margaret Court's all-time record of 24. It's been more than 5 years since Williams' last major title win. And the U.S. Tennis Association announcing yesterday that tennis players from Russia and Belarus will be allowed to compete at the U.S. Open in August. They'll have to do so under a neutral flag, though. That means that Russian Daniil Medvedev, who won the men's singles last year, will be able to defend his title. Wimbledon remains the only Grand Slam to ban players from those 2 countries. The U.S. men's national team with a little bit of sunshine on a wet and really muddy night in El Salvador, trailing by 1 in the 91st minute. Jordan Morris comes off the bench to score the equalizer, heading in Luca de la Torre's cross. Next up for the Americans, a pair of exhibitions in Europe in September, then the World Cup opener in Qatar against Wales on November 21st. MVP of that game is going to be the person doing the laundry. All right, finally, this little birdie got the best seat in the house for yesterday's Marlins-Phillies game, Christine. Front and center in front of the center field camera at Citizens Bank. Good game, too. The Birds saw Miami score 3 runs in the top of the 9th for an 11-9 comeback win. Here's looking at you, Christine, for an awesome Wednesday.
I have a theory. I think he saw his reflection and he just wanted to look at how good he looked. You know,
beautiful bird, shaking that tail feather.
Coy Wire. All right, thanks, Coy. Nice to see you.
You too.
All right, stunning news for fans of the K-pop supergroup BTS. The boys are hitting pause. All right, the South Korean boy band says they're taking a break. They're going to focus on solo projects. One of the group's 7 members telling fans, they're going through a rough patch and they're trying to find their identity. The announcement coming in a video that was part of their annual Festa celebration to mark the band's 9th anniversary. All right, thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Romans. New Day starts right now.
Good morning to our viewers here in the United States and all around the world. It is Wednesday, June 15th. I'm John Berman with Brianna Keeler. And developing this morning, the results are in, and Donald Trump exacting a measure of revenge on Republicans who moved to impeach him. Even as the January 6th committee presents evidence they suggest points to possible crimes by the former president, Trump's political strength is still evident at the polls. Overnight,